You're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio, featuring the Interactive Interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Just fine, my friend. Good to be on with you. How you been? Everything okay?
Doing real well. Of course, you're going to be in town at the Fiesta Mall in just a few weeks here in Arizona. Of course, that's 25th and 26th with the Road to WrestleMania Tour. A lot of people that are listening to this show don't really know what the Road to WrestleMania Tour is about. Could you give us an idea of what we can expect?
Well, yeah, Road to WrestleMania Tour is a tour that we started on the East Coast, right outside of New York and Connecticut, like the middle of January. And, of course, it's going to go all the way through to WrestleMania 21, which is going to be Sunday, April the 3rd, in L.A. at the Staples Center. So WrestleMania is going to Hollywood. So this is basically a tour going to a lot of different cities and big areas, and we're doing 4 stops in each area, and like we're doing malls on the weekends. What we're doing, my friend, is we're reaching out to our fan base and basically just letting them know that how much we appreciate them and how much we support them for supporting us all these years. And what we're doing is letting them know that, you know, if it wasn't for our fans, being behind us all these years, there wouldn't be no WrestleManias, let alone 21. So it's just a good time tour that we're doing, and we're going around and having a lot of fun at the malls, and everything is absolutely free there for the fans. And we're bringing in WWE superstars on the Fridays and Saturdays. Like I know we have RVD on Friday,
yep,
and we have Candice Marie, I believe, on Saturday. So everything is really working out really good, and I'm having a great time doing it. I did a WrestleMania 20 tour last year,
yep,
which began in L.A. and worked towards east to New York's Madison Square Garden. And it worked so good, the folks at the WWE just decided we would take this thing and expand it, make it bigger. And I'm having a great time being able to get out and socialize with all the good wrestling fans.
Excellent, excellent. Of course, your character was trained by Hulk Hogan, at least character-wise, in the WWE early, back in the rock and wrestling days. Hulk Hogan would be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, another event happening WrestleMania weekend. Any chance the Hillbilly family will infiltrate the Hall of Fame in the near future?
Well, I have no idea about that. I hear some people talking about that, and that's something that would be very confidential and will be quite amazing for me. But on the other hand, I'm real happy this year of the ones that we're going to put in there, because not only Hulk Hogan, but some other dear friends of mine, Jimmy the Mouth of South Hart's going to be put in there, and of course Paul, Mr. Wonderful Orndorff, Roddy Piper's going to be in there, and of course Ace, Cowboy Bob Orton's going to be put in there, of course, and I'm sure we'll have some other surprises along the way. But I'm really fired up about that, because I had some personal contacts and I wrestled alongside those guys for many years, and it's just going to be a good weekend, for WrestleMania, and it's also going to be a great weekend for a lot of great WWE former stars, and it'd be good to see them in the place where they ought to be at the Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir. Well, I hope you don't mind you asking us this old question, or asking you this old question, I should say, but we're going to take a step back and just ask you a question that we ask everybody that was at this event. It's probably the biggest wrestling event that ever has happened. It may be the one that will go down as the biggest event that ever will happen. WrestleMania 3, what was it like standing in front of 93,000 screaming fans?
You're exactly right. I get more comments about that and more questions about WrestleMania 3 than I do all the other WrestleManias that I did. And of course, I was able to do a lot in my career that I really liked. But this is the one that sticks out because of the sheer size of it. But for me, it was quite a thrill to be able to stand in that ring and to see 93,000+ people in there, and all you had to do was just kind of lift your hand, and it was a tremendous roar and an amazing feeling that you don't get to experience very many times in your life. And I was honored, privileged, and delighted to have been a part of it. And all these years later, it just makes me feel good that people still want to ask about it, because I realize now how important it has become.
Absolutely. A lot of the guys we interview, and we interview a lot of former WWE superstars, say that they were glad that they had a 4 or 5 year run. If I'm not mistaken, this is year 20 for you in WWE. What's your secret?
Well, I guess aside from, it's almost like saying, well, how come a guy lives so long? I guess one of the reasons he's got good genetics. But I'd say in my life, it's just been, I've been real lucky and real blessed to be around some real good people, and I've been able to kind of diversify myself. And not necessarily stay in that ring all the time, and I've been able to do stuff around the company, such as I did home video sales for many years, and I do lots of trade shows and conventions, and I'm honored and blessed to be able to do this Road to WrestleMania tour. So I'm always available. I'm pro WWE, whatever they want to do, and they know I've always been there for them, because I've had nothing but great memories from this company. So I've been able to stay kind of behind the scenes and yet still be around it for this many years. So it's quite an honor for me, and I think my big secret is that I'm as excited about it as I was then. And I'm happy to see the young superstars, and I watch the shows, and I get to meet the guys, and it's real cool to see the way the businesses came, and just to be sitting here talking to you about WrestleMania 21 and be able to come into Phoenix and do this WrestleMania 21 tour is, man, it's heavy for me, and it's nothing but fun. And how hard can it be when you go out there and people want to say great things about what you did, and I want to talk about things that you're doing now in a real good tone, and it just makes it for a real good time for me to get back to the fans. So that's really my secret. I'm just happy doing what I'm doing, and I've been lucky too. So.
Thank you very much. Do you mind if we just close out with 3 word associations? If you have a story, you can share it. If you just have a one-word answer, that's cool too.
All right, sir.
Okay, 3 predictable names. One guy you teamed with a couple times, Owen Hart.
I'd say Owen Hart. I remember him as a young guy because I remember him in Calgary when he was like 13 or 14 years old, maybe. That's my first meeting with Owen Hart, and I am very friendly with his family and miss him very much.
You were part of WrestleMania 2, the Battle Royal that involved the NFL superstars, and of course it was won by Andre the Giant. So how about Andre?
Andre defies description. Have a lot of memories about him. I miss him as well, but I've got some. If I ever get a chance to talk to you, it would take quite a long time. I have a lot of Andre stories, but he was truly bigger than life, and one of the guys that pretty much transcended not only this business but almost any other sporting business in the world, because everyone. It was unmistaken. Everyone knew who Andre the Giant was.
Absolutely, and the last one I have for you is your boss, Vince McMahon.
Oh, Vince is a genius, and I'd say he's as driven about this business as anybody could ever be about any business, and he shows it. He wears it on his sleeve. He goes out there and does it every day, and he's gung ho 24/7 about the World Wrestling Entertainment, and he's right there in the trenches. So he's got a lot of fire. I'll say that about him.
Absolutely. Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us. Again, check out the Road to WrestleMania at the Fiesta Mall this coming, actually March 25th and 26th. I will be there, and I will be looking forward to shaking your hand, sir.
Well, when you come over to see me, I want to say hello to you. And don't forget, we're real honored this year, too, on the Road to WrestleMania 21 to be sponsored by Army National Guard. They're a great group of guys and ladies. And as you well know, they do a wonderful service for our country. And it's just an honor and a privilege and a lot of fun to meet all these guys. They have different teams coming in with us, and we'll have a great team here as well when we're in the Phoenix area. It's going to be great. So please come out. I'm looking forward to seeing you. And thank you so much for being kind to me and having me on your show today.
Sure. Let me throw this real quickly in there that my father was actually part of the National Guard for 30-plus years, so I have the utmost respect for that organization.
Exactly. That's the way I feel, too.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, and stay tuned for more from the interactive interview.
Oh, hey, folks, this is Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the interactive interview. Tough guy.
On the road to WrestleMania, we are, of course, tonight doing WrestleMania 9 and WrestleMania 10. And let's start. I'm here, Eric Clancy, of course, as always, with my co-host James Walsh. And we will be doing WrestleMania 9 right now. And, of course, the date was April 4th, 1993. Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, Nevada, the only outdoor WrestleMania. And I thought this was a nice-looking venue.
The only outdoor WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I think you might be wrong about that.
No, I think I might be right.
What about 3?
It was inside.
But it's dark out, and then it's got light. And
It's the only outdoor one.
It's an indoor. That 3 was indoors. That's right. What about 19?
19 was indoors.
But they had the sunlight above it.
No, they just have a sunroof. Like there was like glass.
Oh. So the dome was closed then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. What was this one? This one was where again? This was in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Before we get started, this one, of course, is themed the Roman Colosseum. A lot of people thought that was ridiculous. I thought it gave it something of a flavor. You look back on and you see, oh, that was the Roman one. You know, everybody dressed in togas. I mean, it was kind of cool.
It was kitschy.
And of course, they had names like Fincus Maximus. But let's get to our first match, and the match that I really enjoy. It's for the Intercontinental title, second year in a row. Shawn Michaels opens up WrestleMania as a singles competitor. And the story of this match was that Michaels was playing the Flair-like role. He was the Intercontinental title, and Tatanka was undefeated. He was beating Michaels in non-title matches. He was beating him in tag matches, and he was beating him in six-man tag matches. But he was never getting that title match. So, of course, the title match was set for Mania to determine if Tatanka could win the big one. And, you know, Michaels had done everything like, and I'll give Flair credit, he did this well, made his opponent look very good leading up to this. And, of course, Shawn was kind of a vulnerable champion. Any thoughts on this match, James?
Yeah, the match was good. I really enjoyed it because you kept wanting to see Michaels get pinned. And if I'm not mistaken, he even hit the papoose to go, or whatever you call it, on him.
The running... Yeah, I know what you mean.
He hit that on him, and he just couldn't get the job done. If I'm not mistaken, I think he won the match by countout or disqualification.
He won it by countout officially, although it seemed like it should have been a DQ.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, Luna came out with Shawn for no reason, and Sherry came out. Of course, Sherry and Shawn had that disagreement during the Marty Jannetty feud, so she was coming out to screw Shawn. Of course, she didn't. And
I think Luna came out to combat Sherry.
Maybe Shawn had a female bodyguarding. Next match, the Steiner brothers defeated...
Well, he definitely had a female body.
The Steiner brothers defeated the Head Shrinkers, who were accompanied by Afa. Can you say stiff match?
Steiner brothers against them? Yeah, that was stiff. That was a stiff match.
It was a really hard-hitting match. Next match, I enjoyed it. Most people don't, but I always think the Doink character was fantastic as a heel, because for some reason an evil clown is cool, and even R.D. Reynolds will say that he enjoyed the Doink the Clown heel character. Of course, he took on Crush here, and the Doink had been pestering Crush.
I think they should have taken a page from the WrestleMania arcade video game, and he should have had like a hand thing, like, put it here, pal, and I'll electrocute you.
Buzzer?
Yeah.
Well, he had the flower and everything. Well, of course.
And of course, he did stupid stuff like trip the baby faces with the tripwire.
Yeah.
And all that. Then they turned him into face, and
that was stupid.
Yeah, that didn't work as well.
Yeah, and of course, Doink's music, of course, was so cool. It's like dun 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 dun. Oh, it was really creepy. It had all these laughing clowns, and it was sinister-sounding music. Crush, the referee gets knocked out in this match, and then Crush gets him in, what was his move called?
What's his cranium? I just called it cranium crusher, right.
And he gets Doink in that, but Doink eventually escapes and goes under the ring, and then eventually turns out that there are two Doinks, and they do a mime routine right after hitting Crush in the head with an arm. And, of course, Doink gets the pin on Crush, and had they really followed up Doink a lot better, could have done a little more than he did, because Matt Bourne did a great job with that character. Next match, James, is a match that featured a guy that you thought should have been given a little more respect when he won the world title. It was Bob Backlund versus Razor Ramon. And Bob Backlund, at this time, was still portraying the 1970s character that he portrayed, and that wasn't really catching on in the 90s. And it wasn't until later on where he would adopt that psychotic persona that would eventually get over. Of course, Razor beat him in this, and Backlund was playing much the same role as Snuka did in WrestleMania's past.
Yeah, I mean, he was, and Tito, for that matter.
Yeah,
was starting to play. He was 40-something years old at that time. I don't know why, but for that time, it seemed like he was old at that time. Of course, these days, a lot of the guys that are up there now are not far away from that age bracket.
It's funny because he's the exact same age as Flair.
Is he? Yeah. And they were acting like he was too old.
I think he might be a little bit younger.
He might be. And they were acting like he was way too old to be in that ring, and when he won the world title, they made a big deal about that the old guy got the belt. But, of course, that was not until Survivor Series.
Well, the old guys were winning the belt a lot in WCW with Flair.
Yep.
Next match was a match that I'm sure you're going to have a lot of commentary on. The World Tag Team Championship, Money Incorporated defeated Hollywood Hogan with Bruce the Barber Beefcake. James, I'm going to let you take this whole thing. I want you to take the story. I want to take your...
They beat him by disqualification. They got disqualified because Jimmy Hart came in the ring wearing the referee's shirt and counted the pin. which of course is not official by any means. So that's the way they got disqualified. And then they took the money and they gave it out, which surprised everybody. Vince is not usually good with giving away his money, but I guess for that occasion he was willing to. Ted DiBiase said it wasn't as special of a WrestleMania as the ones prior. I tend to disagree. A lot of people don't like that WrestleMania. I thought it was good.
Well, we're going to talk about our final thoughts after this, but of course Hogan was pushed down to the mid-card, and I think the mid-card, James always says it would never work. I think it would have, but I think they pushed him too far down. I think if you put him to the 1A spot and eventually had him build up younger guys, it would have worked. But
well, they pushed him to the 1A spot when he was second to the Warrior, and the crowd reactions weren't following.
I think at this point, though, it would have worked, but they pushed him too far down. The next match let's get to is the narcissist Lex Luger in a gimmick that has been repeated by such people as Chris Masters, who injures people, and Mark Jindrak.
Which people forget about already.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect and Lex Luger. Of course, the story of this match was in about the, I want to say it was Survivor Series. Perfect and Flair had a falling out. And Heenan, of course, sided with Flair, and eventually Perfect on Raw beat Flair in a loser leaves town match, so Flair was out of the WWE. Heenan hated this, so he recruited Lex Luger from the failed WBF.
Right.
And tried to use him to destroy Perfect and get him out of the WWE. And, of course, Luger won this match despite the fact Perfect had his leg on the bottom rope.
Yes, Luger got the win. It was his first WrestleMania win, one of, I think, two that he would accumulate. But, yeah, I mean, it was actually a really good match for two guys, especially for Luger. Hennig carried him to a good match.
Yeah.
And Hennig, after the match, went out and beat the crap out of Shawn Michaels, which I don't quite understand why.
No, Luger and Shawn beat up Hennig, and that was to set up the Shawn Michaels-Hennig program that went to SummerSlam.
Yes.
If you remember.
But why? Oh, Hennig was chasing after Luger.
Hennig chased after Luger, and then Shawn intercepted him.
Right.
Luger and Shawn started beating up Perfect. And, of course, Perfect would start to interfere in Shawn's business for the next few weeks, including costing him the Intercontinental title, Marty Jannetty. Of course, they faced off at SummerSlam with Shawn winning somebody winning by countout, but Shawn didn't lose the title, and a lot of people felt that was an unsatisfactory ending.
Yep.
The next match we'll get to is a match that on the last one we told you, why did we like this match? Well, we're going to tell you right now. It's The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. A really cool thing, Undertaker came out with that vulture in the chariot.
Right.
That looked really cool.
Right.
And, of course, it's not often you see a 6'10" man
Look like a midget.
Look like a normal guy in the ring. But that's what you were with Giant Gonzalez. That stare down, I mean, he looks scary. And you were like, everybody's cheering for The Undertaker. He's a scary guy. And Gonzalez was just huge. And the story was, could Undertaker get Gonzalez off his feet? The reason I don't think this match is bad, and I'll let James say what he wants to, I mean, had they asked Gonzalez to go around and deliver a technical match, I would have probably said, oh, this is terrible. But all they had Gonzalez do was fall down and Taker clothesline him the whole time. So, I mean, it wasn't a great match, but I don't see how it was really bad. Gonzalez didn't do anything that out of his abilities. So, granted, I do think he's not a very capable wrestler, but the fact that this match is bad, well, I don't think he gave an opportunity to show that he was bad. It told a good story. The crowd was into it.
He was just so big. I mean, his draw was the fact that he was a giant. That's it.
Yeah, and
he wasn't a worker. He was a giant.
Biggest wrestler ever, I think. I mean, as far as height, he was about 8 feet tall.
I mean, he was a monster.
Let's get, of course, Undertaker defeats him by DQ when Gonzalez gets the chlorophyll.
I wonder if he's going to suffer from that giantism disease.
You mean acromegalia?
Yeah.
I don't know. My dad always thought Lesnar had it, but I think Lesnar was too small. Main event, and this is a very confusing main event. Bret Hart went in with the title, and he was defending against the monster Yokozuna, who had won the Royal Rumble. First time the Royal Rumble winner had ever been granted a shot at the World Heavyweight Champion. Of course, he was accompanied by Mr. Fuji and Cornette. I don't know if Cornette was actually there. I can't remember. But Bret, it was the story was in this match was, can Bret get Yokozuna's massive tree trunk legs into the sharpshooter. Of course, he did. He managed to do it, and the fans went wild for that. And Fuji threw the salt in his eyes. Of course, Hogan comes out to...
after the pinfall, after Yoko got the pinfall, became World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, Yoko became the champion, the shortest world champion ever. And Hogan's comforting Bret, and of course Mr. Fuji challenges Hogan to come in the ring and do battle with Yokozuna for the title, and Bret tells him to accept it. Hogan does, clotheslines Zuna, clotheslines Fuji, leg drop Zuna. We've got a new heavyweight champion. A lot of people, and James, I'm going to let you close out with your thoughts on this match. I'm just going to say what I think for this one. A lot of people think this was a selfish move on Hogan's part. It may have been, but the fact of the matter is it was really a great way to end WrestleMania, something you didn't expect. You thought Yoko was going to leave with the title, which nobody wanted to see. Not because Yoko was you didn't want to see him as champion. It's just a downer, a down note to go on WrestleMania out of. And Hogan win it really not only made a great moment, but it also eventually led to Bret's journey to get the title back. And a lot of people say it hurt Bret Hart. Well, he never would have had that fantastic comeback and winning the title back at 10. So, that was a big moment in his career. So I think you got to remember that did happen, and it was a great moment. James?
Yes, I thought it was a fantastic moment. I, of course, was about 12 years old at the time.
Of course you did.
I was about 12 years old at the time. I saw it happen, and I just remember me and my friends were thinking, oh, well, Hogan's done for the night. What are we going to do? And then we're thinking, well, there's Bret. And we're like, well, yeah, that'd be good. But we were kind of just like, well, we already seen what we got to see. We were done. We were pretty much done. The next thing we'd know, we were just bonsai dropping each other off the couch and doing stupid stuff. But when Hogan came out, everybody's like, what the hell is he doing out there? And when he won the title, I just remember screaming out to my brother, who's now my brother-in-law, I should say, who was just dating my sister at the time for about a year. He came by in the car, and I just remember opening the door and said, Hogan won the title. And I don't even know if he was a wrestling fan. I just remember I was going nuts.
You mean like last night when Marty came back, and a week ago when Marty came back and I screamed?
Yes. You were like a little girl, but... Marty! Hang on, I'm going to go watch this. You sounded like
your thoughts on this Mania?
You sounded like Jerry Lawler when he got really excited.
Yeah.
Where are we at again?
Your thoughts on this WrestleMania?
Good WrestleMania, not the best WrestleMania ever, but it was fun.
Certainly underrated.
Certainly underrated. Everybody says it was up there with the worst. I don't think it was that bad.
No, I think it was a good one. And every match was built up.
It was. I mean, it was clearly the downside of the end of the
Hogan era.
Of the Hogan era, yeah. But it was like not a sad ending. It was just like this is kind of like where we're at kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they didn't know where to go next. It was kind of the end, more of that confusion from 8.
Yeah.
Except with less superstars.
Yeah. WrestleMania 10, the only WrestleMania you've been at, of course, and the date was March 20th, 1994, back where it all began, Madison Square Garden, New York City, my hometown. And we will start off with the opening match, which many people call would have been the best match in the card, if not for a third match later on. And of course, this would be Owen Hart defeating his older brother, Bret the Hitman Hart.
I was one of the few people actually cheering for Owen.
Really?
Yes. For some reason, I really wanted Owen to win that match.
I remember the problems really started at Royal Rumble when they faced the Quebecers, and Bret didn't make the tag.
Yep. That son of a bitch.
Of course, the next match was a mixed tag match, as we called it, pretty ridiculous, turning Doink heel, face, I mean. And it was, of course, Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon taking on Doink and Dink. I
was there. I have the match on tape. I just don't remember it. It just kind of tuned it out.
Yeah, it was the beginning of a Doink and Bigelow feud that nobody really cared about. Next up is the very last WrestleMania appearance of a guy who contributed a lot to the WWE during its rock and wrestling era, That's Macho Man Randy Savage. He did commentary at the last event. He defeated Crush in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Different kind of Falls Count Anywhere match, though. Savage, what you had to do is you had to score a pinfall, then you had 10 seconds to get back in the ring.
And everybody thought it was the shortest match ever because at the beginning of the match, Savage pretty much got dominated. He had the same move done to him that put him out of action, where he got clotheslined basically on the rail and his teeth knocked out.
Yeah.
Crush did that to him, pinned him 1, 2, 3, and of course Savage eventually did get back in the ring in time.
Of course, tied up Crush and made his way back to the ring. So a fitting way for Savage to go out with a win. The next match would be the Women's Championship. The woman who threw the WWE title into the trash can, Alundra Blaze, defeated Leilani Kai, who Kai was obviously at the very first WrestleMania, and here she is again at 10.
Yep, there you are. Alundra Blaze, a beautiful woman.
Indeed.
Medusa, yes.
The next match was the first WWE Championship match. The idea of this was the fact that Brett would have a match with Owen, and whoever won the WWE Championship match would later go on to face Brett. So, in essence, the champion would have to have wrestled 2 matches in one night, so it was fair. The WWE Championship match, of course, was Yokozuna and Lex Luger. A long-awaited match that Mr. Perfect was the guest referee for, and we all know Mr. Perfect's feelings on Luger after their little match last year, and I thought this was good that they...
The difference was Luger was now the face.
Yeah, and Perfect was the heel. Of course, a lot of people think, and myself included, think they mishandled the Luger-Yokozuna feud, like at SummerSlam when he beat him by countout, and then they cheered like he'd won the title. That was always confusing to me. I know you echo similar sentiments. Of course, Yokozuna escapes this match with a DQ win when Luger attacks Cornette and hits...
Luger should have won the belt. But
what?
Luger should have won the belt. I think that he made a mistake. Yannick told me the story.
Yeah, Luger was supposed to win the belt.
And I think he got drunk and told somebody that he was going to win.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know the story, Luger, the weekend before, I'm not sure, was slated to win the belt and then lose to Brett in the main event. But what had happened was he got drunk at a bar and said to a reporter, and they reported in the paper, of course, Vince not wanting people to know the results, changed it and had Zuna and Brett in the main event for the second year in a row. Now we get to the match that a lot of people say redefined the business. I tend to agree. I don't know how you feel on it. The Intercontinental Championship ladder match. It was Razor Ramon defeating HBK in a match that I consider to be a great match. Not my favorite match ever, but a really damn good match.
Yes, it was a really good match. I think this was far better than their SummerSlam one, though I've seen a lot of people disagree with me on that.
I like SummerSlam, but I think I agree with you.
Maybe it was just because it was new. Being there and seeing it in person, the sheer brutality of it was, at this point you didn't see hardcore, so this was as vicious as it got. It was good. I liked it. It was a fantastic match. Michaels took a lot of risks there, probably more than I would ever take.
Yeah.
And
nobody had really ever seen anything like this before, like you said.
And just as Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage redefined the business, in my opinion, with their match.
I mean, I'll give you credit with that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think this might have redefined it a bit as well, or quite a bit as well.
Because I mean, when you see this match, it doesn't seem out of place today.
No.
Next match is one of the most memorable WrestleMania matches of all time. Of course, I'm talking about the World Tag Team Championship match. Men on a Mission.
We're men on a mission and we're going in cover. Mighty Next Express.
My favorite rap act of all time. Defeated the Quebecers with a former guest on the show, Johnny Polo, by countout.
Your favorite.
My favorite interview. Not much to say about this match. Earthquake defeated Adam Bomb in, it seemed like, about 8 seconds.
Yeah, he bombed him.
Yeah. Earthquake, of course, was really on his way out of the company at this point.
Adam Bomb, they could have done something with
those stupid goggles.
What?
Remember when Adam Bomb had those dumb goggles?
Yeah, they were cool.
Whatever.
He used to throw the Nerf at A-bombs to the crowd.
And of course,
he could have been so much more. He had a lot of talent.
Yeah, Brian Clark, of course, we're talking about, who became Wrath in WCW, and they really dropped the ball with him in '98. But what can you do? Of course, the main event. This is Bret Hart's redemption. For everyone who did not like Bret not walking out of Mania 9 with the belt. Well, you got what you wanted here, and I'm pretty sure most people in the house were happy with this one, James.
Yep.
Bret Hart defeating...
I just remember the biggest pop of the night was for Roddy Piper.
Yeah, Piper obviously came out as a special guest referee. You were there. Give us your thoughts on this main event, James.
I just remember Yokozuna's big red ass when he was setting up to do the bonsai drop.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the size of half the ring.
Yeah, he was huge.
And when he fell over and he got the pin, I was shocked because you just saw that big red ass fall off the ropes, and you're thinking, did he mean to do that or not? But yeah.
I'm going to say my final thoughts, and I'll let you go with yours. I thought this was really the beginning. A lot of people argue that maybe last WrestleMania 9 was really the genesis of the Bret Hart era. I think this was definitely the pinnacle of the Bret Hart era. This is Bret's night. This was Bret's WrestleMania. Granted, Shawn and Razor really had a fantastic match, but in the end, the show was built around Bret Hart. In a few years, the emphasis would change to Shawn Michaels, but this was, in my opinion, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Had a WrestleMania centered around him, and a lot of people enjoyed this one.
Yeah, that was a good WrestleMania. I was there in person. A lot of people didn't like it. I thought you had a lot of things. You had Savage in his match against the Crush, which got a lot of crowd reaction. You had the great opening match. You had the ladder matches we talked about. You had the probably the worst cover-up of overbooking, so they had to cancel a match ever with the six-man.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in the ring first. No, I'm going to be in the ring.
I want to be the captain.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did the crowd reacted big when Bret won?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And of course, if anyone doesn't know, all the faces came out. Luger, Savage, Tatanka, who later joined the $1 Million Corporation.
That sellout, him.
Yeah. Razor, they hoisted Bret on his shoulders and paraded him around the ring with the title. It was really Bret's moment, and we all know how he left the WWE, and he can always look back on one of these fantastic moments that he had, and he had a lot of them in WWE, and this was at the biggest show of all time. I mean, of the year.
Yep, I agree with you. Well, once again, check out the forums and post your thoughts on these. Also, check out RSBH123's Road to WrestleMania posts. He's got specials on certain superstars. One of them is Shawn Michaels, believe it or not, so check that out on the old school section. Mr. Clancy, I think you'll enjoy that. He also has flashbacks to WrestleMania, much like these, giving his opinions, and his opinions seem to be pretty much matching up with ours. RSBH, a good guest.
Yeah, RSBH, great guy, actually. You definitely should check out his stuff. As James was saying, the forum's got something for really everybody. We got some, we're talking about Godzilla on the entertainment forums the other day, me and a few people. We got a March Madness forum up. You want to talk about who you think's going to win the big tournament, all sorts of sports stuff you can post, TV, movies, whatever. We got all sorts of WrestleMania talk going. Of course, we got our favorite and least favorite Raw and SmackDown superstars in the Raw and SmackDown section. So if you're not a member yet, I highly advise. It's really fun. It's a fun community
and it's free.
To be part of. Go ahead.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free, and it takes like 8 seconds to register. It's not like some of these where you have to wait for an email or anything. It's cool. So check out the forums. Tell us what you think of these, because we enjoy doing them. We hope you enjoy hearing them.
Yep.
Want to close this out, buddy?
Sure. And once again, check out the forums. Keep coming back. We're going to have more interviews for you.